In today's rather exciting extravaganza of things going on at Project Nigel headquarters, Project Damien is going to have his engine taken out by Danger Mouse. And I'm going to continue the rather exciting work of removing all the bits off of Project Mick here until there's nothing left to take off, except the bits that I don't want to keep. Today's already begun and I'm carrying carpet around now. To the other end of the yard where it's all grotty and dirty. A bit of carpet helps fix the lot. Oh, how lovely! And the rain stopped, so that's fabulous. Onto this car. If we skip back to yesterday and some other things I was doing before I got distracted by trying to make my own car a bit faster, you'll see how far I've got to. One may think that this car is ready just to be chucked away, because it does look a bit that way, doesn't it? There's not exactly a lot left in here, is there? But not a lot is not the same as nothing, is it? No, it's not. Here's a thought for you. I've just taken out the instrument cluster and that bit of trim up there, leaving this behind. And I thought I could have showed how to do that. But why? Why don't I? It's probably because if I have somebody coming along looking for instructions on videos, they're going to be disappointed by the rest of what they see. If you have any experience with the Rover cars, then you'll know that taking them apart is quite a different experience from car to car. They're not all the same. The dashboard in particular, it's a Honda dashboard in 45, whereas a 75 it's kind of more BMW, and a 25 it's just Rover, and it's all put together in a rather different fashion. Honda were a bit obsessed with things being put together properly, so there's hidden screws everywhere and things like that. That's why your 45 doesn't have a rattly dash. These are something I always struggled with. Heater blower control units, because of these cables. The dash is almost out now, and I'll tell you what I think. What I think is this. It's okay asking for instructions, but the thing you really need is just to have patience and just to have a rather methodical approach. Obviously you can't spend all week doing a tiny job, but if you spend all week doing a tiny job and you figure out how to do it, so next time it's easier, what's the problem? That's probably why I don't bother with the Haynes manuals, because you can just figure it out as you go along. It's things like this wiring loom going through the dash there. You could just snip all these and pull it out, or you could just go to the fuse box and undo all the wires themselves. That's definitely out of the car now. It has to be said, the 75 dashboard is a lot easier to get out. And now I'm about to take out the steering column. So now you know how to remove a steering column from a Rover 45. Next up is all this gubbins here. The blower thing, the heater matrix, and that, did it have aircon? Must have done. I prefer spiders living in cars than mice. Oh, it's getting cold. Inside these Rover 45 doors are wiring looms, window regulators, these things and glass, etc., and the old latch. That's quite a lot of taking things apart, and I want to get on with this quickly, so I'm going to do this instead. One of the most distracting things about the Rover 45 so far is the amount of 12mm bolts. That's just the wrong size. Danger Mouse is making very good progress. I want to make Danger Mouse's time here as comfortable as possible, and that's why I am presenting him with an elephant toilet roll.
Thank you.
It's not even a little turbo, that is it? That is a very, very clean engine block there. That's how I want my Nigel's engine to look like, instead of the contents of a baby's nappy. The Danger Mouse project is coming along rather well. Compare that to how much I've done. Can you see what I've done? No, I can't either. Well, I do know I took the bonnet off. As you can see here, my little friend is using wheels instead of axle stands, which is a rather excellent method that I didn't think of, but I'm going to claim it as my own. Time for me to go off and do the old school run duties and leave my friend, who shares the initials with Danger Mouse, at the yard. Now it seems that yesterday I may have given a little bit of misinformation, but it wasn't my fault, I didn't know any better. The L-series math thing, bridging the air mass sensor, doesn't give it more power, but it actually puts it back to where it should have been in the first place. Without it, you're running at about 80 brake horsepower apparently, and then when you bridge it, it goes back to where it was, which is about 100 horsepower. Still doesn't really sound like very much, does it? But that's information given to me from a reliable source. I'm grateful for that. Great news. Apparently there's going to be some sort of fuel shortage, and already petrol stations are getting jammed up with people panic buying. I've just passed 3 of them with cars queuing all the way outside. That's people queuing for something they don't currently need, just in case they need it in a couple of weeks or something, by which point any shortage will have been dealt with anyway. And in the meantime, it sets off a chain reaction of unnecessary consequences because of unnecessary behaviour that will affect everyone and make the whole thing worse than it possibly could be. Just like last year's fiasco with the toilet roll. Everybody going out buying more toilet roll than they could possibly ever need, in case suddenly everyone in the entire country develops some sort of bowel issue where you have to dump 10 times a day. The other thing is that panic buyers don't even identify as panic buyers. No, they're just normal people observing panic buying going on and end up thinking something like, oh no, if I don't jump in that queue and buy some of this stuff that I don't even know if I need or not, we'll end up running out of it. And so they join the queue, cursing the panic buyers all the way, and then when they eventually get to the checkout or whatever it is, they make sure they buy double, 3 or 5 times the amount of whatever it is they may or may not need. Anyway, back to what's going on at work. The Streetwise's bumper and exhaust is there on the floor, and the engine is still in, and there's a good reason for that, because it's not out of the car. Oh, this is the moment of truth. Danger Mouse's first ever engine removal. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. There we go.
That's the end.